Gran, said Peter as his grandmother was tucking him up in bed, do you believe in ghosts? Oh, yes, said his grandmother. So do you know a good ghost story to tell me? Now? Yes. All right. Like a great many ghosts, said Gran, Sir Anthony Appleby was wary of people. It wasn't that they could do him any harm. That had been done ages ago. It was the fuss they made when they came upon him, in the winding corridors and steep stone stairways of Codlin Castle. Some screamed and ran. Some stood rooted to the spot, trembling and ashen-faced. Some fainted. But no one ever said a kind word to him. In fact, no one had spoken a word of any kind to him since his death in 1588. In time past, things had not been so bad, for then the only inhabitants of Codlin Castle had been the Appleby family and their servants. All were quite used to the ghost of Sir Anthony, and though they may not have spoken to him, at least there were no trouble to him. Nowadays things were different, for the Appleby fortunes had dwindled over the centuries, until finally one of Sir Anthony's descendants had been forced to sell the family seat. Now it was known as the Codlin Castle Hotel, where well-to-do folk came to stay, to sleep in canopied four-posters, and to eat rich meals in the medieval banqueting hall. Sir Anthony kept bumping into them in the corridors and stairways, and all of them, it seemed, were frightened of ghosts. A fellow can't get any peace these days, said Sir Anthony grumpily. Like all ghosts, he talked to himself a great deal. One look at me and they lose their heads. And then he allowed himself a smile, for though he dressed in the costume of his age, doublet and hose, flowing cloak, high ruffed collar, sword by his side, he was, as always, carrying his head underneath one arm. For 342 years he had carried it thus, ever since that fateful day when, as one of her courtiers, he had accompanied Queen Elizabeth on a visit to her fleet at Tilbury. On the dockside there was a large puddle, and the Queen stopped before it. "Your cloak, Sir Anthony," she said. Sir Anthony hesitated. "Majesty," he said. "I may have the heart and stomach of a king," said Queen Elizabeth, "but I have the feet of a weak and feeble woman, and I don't want to get them wet. Cast your cloak upon yonder puddle." "But, Your Majesty," said Sir Anthony Appleby, "it's a brand-new cloak, and it will get all muddy." At which the Queen ordered that he be taken straight away to the Tower of London and there beheaded, while Sir Walter Raleigh hastily threw down his own cloak. The years and indeed the centuries slipped by. One sultry summer's night in 1930, the stable clock was striking 12 as the ghost made his way along a stone-flagged passageway in the west wing, his head tucked underneath his left arm. This was how he usually carried it, to leave his sword arm free, though sometimes he changed sides, for the head was quite heavy. Once, a couple of 100 years ago, he had tried balancing it on top of his neck just for fun, but this had not been a success. A serving wench had come upon him suddenly in the castle kitchens, making him jump so that the head fell off and rolled along the floor, at which the wretched girl, a newcomer, had died of fright. Remembering this incident as the 12th stroke sounded, Sir Anthony stopped opposite a tall cheval-glass standing in the passage, and taking up his head with both hands, set it carefully upon the great ruffed collar. "A fine figure of a man," he remarked to his reflection, "though I say it myself." And, pressing his palms against his ears to keep the head steady, he turned this way and that, the better to admire himself. He could not, therefore, hear the approach of soft footsteps, but suddenly saw, beside his own reflection, that of a small girl in pink pyjamas. "Hello," she said. "Who are you?" So startled was Sir Anthony that he almost dropped his head. My name is Sir Anthony Appleby," he stammered, turning to face the child. "And who, pray, are you, young miss?" "I'm Biffy," said the small girl. "It's short for Elizabeth." That name again, thought Sir Anthony. But at least someone's spoken to me at last. "Why aren't you in bed?" he said. "Too hot," said Biffy. "I couldn't sleep. Why aren't you?" "Oh, I never sleep," said Sir